Governor Gavin Newsom of California, podcaster Newsom, warns that California will retaliate if Texas eliminates Dem seats in redistricting. Do a little redistricting map in Texas. 5 more seats. Trump requested it. Greg Abbott doing it. Gavin comes back with 2026 election is rigged. Being rigged. That true? A little. Let's get into it. Here we go. I think it's becoming pretty clear that beyond gruesome Newsom, the Democrats, they got Jack. They got Jack for leadership. They got Gavin Newsom. And when Gavin Newsom is your best option, that is really saying something, isn't it? Let's watch this video. I'll show you what I mean.
We turn now to news making headlines in our state capital. Governor Gavin Newsom is keeping a close eye on Texas. President Donald Trump is pushing for redistricting there to pick up more Republican seats in the 2026 primary elections. And Newsom is threatening to hit back with his own redistricting plan here in California if Republicans in Texas start redrawing their maps. 17's Capitol correspondent Eitan Wallace has more.
Calling a special session of the 89th legislature.
With that, the Texas state legislature has officially started public hearings to take up President Trump's plan to redraw congressional districts in the Lone Star State. Trump believes doing so ahead of the 2026 election could help Republicans win more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats.
Texas Republicans
Boom!
the first part of the
Done.
process. For their part, they said it was important the first hearings take input from everyday Texans.
We want to hear from the public about what revisions should occur, if any. That's the purpose of today's hearing.
A hearing that largely featured
This kid.
the public opposed to Trump's plan.
These future maps are going to divide our communities so badly that we will no longer have a fair representation in Congress.
We would never, ever, ever let a con man from New York tell us Texas what to do.
The hearings come less than 1 week after
No, but when the con man tells the governor of your state what to do, and he listens, because Republicans right now are in lockstep. Democrats are just absolutely scattered. You got gruesome Newsom, a million buyer objections. Look at California. You got AOC. You got Kamala Harris, maybe. The options on the Democrat side are so bad. And if, Republicans pick up another, if they do okay in the 2026 midterms, that is a huge win because historically, the, party that's in presidential office kind of gets crushed. I don't think that happens this time. And 5 seats, it'll be entertaining no matter what.
Governor Gavin Newsom met in Sacramento with Texas Democratic leaders. Newsom saying he will consider redrawing California's congressional districts to help pick up Democratic congressional seats if Texas Republicans move forward with Trump's plan.
They're not screwing around. We cannot afford to screw around. We have got to fight fire with fire.
But Common Cause, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization dedicated to independent redistricting, is calling out both Newsom and Trump. Common Cause notes California already has an independent redistricting commission, something they call the gold standard.
Redistricting processes that are nonpartisan, transparent, and that center community input do the best job of creating voting maps that provide ordinary people with fair representation.
You can't.
Effectively, California's own policy is going to prohibit gruesome Newsom from retaliating with a redistricting map of California. Oh, I love it. The irony.
Fight gerrymandering with more gerrymandering.
Patricia Sinai is a member of California's Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission.
Independent redistricting commissions work because they put people first, not special interests or political parties. The people are in control. Handing the power to incumbent legislators, lobbyists, and special interests will bring back the political gamemanship that brought us to the independent redistricting in the first place. We can't afford to sacrifice the truly democratic process for short-term solutions. We must.
How's that working out for you there, hot stuff? How's that going to work out for you? Just asking for a friend.
do what we can to preserve the California Citizen Redistricting Commission and independent redistricting throughout the state of California.
And to be clear, Newsom has not made any final decisions on this. He says that will depend on the actions of the Texas legislature. Should Newsom move forward with his plan, he can either go to his legislature or directly to the voters to change the redistricting process in California. At the state capitol, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.
The redistricting is legal in Texas because they don't have this ridiculous stuff. We got this third-party commission. It's all about democracy. Yeah. Well, no, it's about politics. And this is straight up politics. You heard Trump. Now it's a simple redistricting map and we pick up 5 seats. I mean, how simple is that? How simple, whether you believe that's, ethical or moral or democratic, how simple is that? He just said it. And Greg Abbott, yep. And now they're having hearings. And the Democrats in Texas were like, this is undemocratic. California Governor Newsom warned his administration will retaliate. No, they won't. They'll just bend over and take it more. That's what they'll do. Because that's what they always do. Greatest thing ever. Donald Trump asked for 5 seats and Greg Abbott automatically bends the knee. No, that's called politics. That's called party politics. The 2026 election is being rigged. Interesting. Kind of like when you took George Floyd as a massive cause and got Sleepy Joe into office based on that. Yeah, like that. California won't sit back and watch this happen. Yes, you will. And you'll say, sir, may I have another? Newsom said in a social media post. Comments of the kind have also been made by New York Governor Kathy Hochul. Yeah, okay. They can't do the redistricting either, as far as I'm concerned, as well as lawmakers Alexandria AOC and Alicia Slotkin. They are looking at this going, holy crap. If they do that, yep, that might work. This isn't good. This isn't good. It's interesting that Newsom, Hochul, and AOC are the ones coming up with just, the verbal nonsense. Donald Trump asked for, we saw that. Yeah, Gavin Newsom. Message comes after Texas Republicans released the first draft of the state's congressional map on Wednesday. Concretely, the map targets members in Austin, Dallas, and Houston metro areas and in South Texas. Gonna redraw that. And, these districts. Look at this. Population. Interesting. 5 more seats. Boom. Wow. And here, get this. State Democrats, and we've seen this happen before, right? State Democrats are reportedly fundraising to face potential fines if they leave the state to block the initiative. The outlet detained on Tuesday that should lawmakers leave the state to prevent the legislature from having a quorum to function, there would be donors willing to bankroll the effort. The outlet noted that lawmakers would face a daily $500 fine, as well as the threat of arrest. Arrest them, I say. Arrest them. Throw them in jail. Just like Hillary Clinton. They would also need to overcome the fact that Texas House rules forbid them from using campaign coffers to pay fines. But people involved in the strategy said there's already a strategy in place. About $1 million a month would be needed to finance the move. Wow. This could get spicy. This could get spicy. I hope it does. I mean, podcasts for days, weeks, months. Representative Jasmine Crockett, whenever you hear those 3 words, cringe, because what comes next is going to be, Representative Jasmine Crockett said that since there are minimal limits on external income, lawmakers can just accept donations as another salary. Sorry, what? What are you talking about? That woman is dumb as a rock. She added that it might not even come to that. I think that the first step would be to make sure that there are attorneys on deck to actually challenge the legality of these rules. Yeah, massive redistricting plan, and you don't have attorneys. Attorneys are already on deck. They're already on deck looking at this. Guaranteed. That woman is so out of touch with reality. I mean, it's like, okay. I mean, you want to tell her that, after spring, summer comes, or, Thursday comes after Wednesday, Jasmine. Don't know if you knew that, but Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who is completely on board with all of this, of course, he's a Republican, on his end, called for the arrest of Democrats leaving the state and offered his office to help hunting down and compelling the attendance of anyone who abandons their office. Oh, man, I hope that happens. I would love to see some of these low-life Democrats in Texas get arrested, incarcerated. You need to be there. Democrats are using other tools at their disposal to fight against the move. Democratic National Committee, DNC, has begun deploying tens of thousands of advocates to fight against redistricting efforts. All right. I think this is going to get good. This is going to get spicy. You're seeing just a slew of information coming out. New poll delivers troubling signs for Democrats. Basically, there's no real leadership on the Democrat side. Even, let's do this one. Willie Brown, Kamala Harris. This is classic. SWAT news. Check this one out. Willie Brown pumps the brakes on potential Kamala Harris run for governor. He doesn't even want her to run for governor, let alone president of the United States, because she'd be going 0 for 3 on the presidential end of things. Dems just aren't going to run her. So Willie Brown, who basically gave her position, hey, Kamala, you are really good in the sack. Therefore, let me give you a couple of prime committee positions to be on. And that's what happened, right? Willie Brown was 30-something years older than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris starts dating him, and all of a sudden she gets these plum commission appointments. I mean, you might see that as sexist. You might see that as whatever. That's the way it went. That's politics, right? I mean, do whatever you got to do to get where you need to go, right? So now, decades later, 3 decades probably? Willie Brown, Kamala Harris. No. So you don't have Kamala Harris. You just don't really have much in the way of leadership for the Democrats to glom onto. Meanwhile, you got J.D. Vance already in office, honing down on 2028 presidential election, and you got a slew of other capable people on the Republican side who are basically waiting lockstep to have their time in office. Donald Trump Jr. being one that's often highlighted as number 2 in that list, number 3, Ron DeSantis, and the list keeps going. You've got options there. The Democrats, you got Gruesome Newsom, you got AOC, you got Pete, whatever his last name is, secretary of whatever he was. I mean, you got a handful, Jasmine Crockett. Oof. Okay. All right. We'll just see how that goes. Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, maybe. But, there's no real leadership there. And the Democrats know it. And you're seeing news story after news story after news story where they basically say they're still trying to figure out how they lost that election so badly, how they lost the Latino vote, how they lost the black vote, how they lost the working class American vote, how they lost just basically every single demographic that mattered except the big blue states that they already had, like Washington State just went bluer because, people in Washington State they're loony too. They are literally, they're out of touch with reality and they vote what they vote. And, how's that working out? Well, yeah, not great. Not great. It's just, but these are politics, right? It's your ideology. I believe this. I believe that. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this redistricting goes, but this is something I'm following closely because I think it's not only going to have an impact on the 2026 midterms, but long term, like, hey, more control, the better. Politics. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again for being here. Catch up on the next one. Bye for now.